back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. With me, as always, is Morgan.
Hey, what's up?
Tonight, the Grammys aired, so we're here recording after the show has aired. We didn't watch the whole show, but we saw the relevant parts where BTS was present, and you can see pretty much everything you need to see on Twitter, whether it's just clips or people streaming the whole show. I watched some of BTS on their red carpet interviews and, saw them coming out of their car and arriving. So there was kind of footage of all different things. And, they were asked the pretty typical questions, which is fine. It's like, oh, who do you want to collab with? Of course, they got asked that. But they gave some different answers this time. They said, like, Lady Gaga, Olivia Rodrigo, J Balvin.
Oh, interesting.
So that's something different. So maybe, and Snoop. So maybe that's kind of a...
Because they are, right?
Yeah, since that's probably about to happen. That's a safe answer. And the Grammys, this time it's all in person. It's kind of back to normal now, other than being in Vegas versus LA. So they had everybody there in person and no masks. So that's good. I'm tired of seeing people wear masks to things. And they had BTS kind of seated at tables in the front. It's kind of like how they have the Golden Globes. It's like people are at little tables. Mm-hmm. That's how they had it with, the major artists were sitting in the front. And they performed in the show kind of, earlier in the show, which I was surprised because normally the Grammys
early is good.
Yeah. I think
early or late.
It's better for them to get it out of the way. And I remember last year they kind of saved it to almost the very end.
Early or late are the best spots.
Yeah, I think people are paying the most attention at those times. So they performed pretty early on in the show. I think it was like third or fourth performance. They performed Butter, which we just found out, as they were doing it, because they didn't say which song it was going to be. So there were all kinds of speculation, like maybe they'll do a totally different song, one that's they're not nominated for. I don't know, just to change it up, I guess. But you have to remember they didn't have as much time to rehearse with the full team because of all the stuff that happened this past week with some of them getting COVID and Jin being injured. So I can see why they didn't do something totally new. I mean, although it was different, they did a whole different routine for Butter. They had different choreo. They had a little skit at the beginning.
Yeah, so it was planned.
Yeah, so it was planned, but it wasn't like a song that they weren't nominated for. Some people were thinking, oh, maybe they'll do
No, of course they'll do Butter. They're pushing the English language stuff.
Yeah, and that's their recent song that was nominated, so it makes sense. I did really like the concept of their performance. I think it was... I didn't really watch the other performances, but I think other ones were all pretty typical, just people on a stage singing and just that's it. But theirs was really good. They had a concept. It was like they were involved in a heist similar to Ocean's 12. Mm-hmm. I was going to say 11, but 12 had art involved. Or you could also say it was similar to Thomas Crown Affair.
I doubt it's similar to that. Nobody watched that movie. I watched it, but very few people watched it.
That was pretty good. That's from a while ago now, but yeah, that was a good movie. Pierce Brosnan.
The real James Bond.
Yeah, the best James Bond.
To date.
A lot of people like Daniel Craig, though.
I'm sorry, I don't like him.
He's a more
okay,
recent one,
I don't like
though.
him. But Pierce Brosnan is my James Bond. Unless they cast Henry Cavill, then he'll be my James Bond.
He looks very James Bond. And he's British. So.
Yeah, he's the ideal. But of course that means they won't cast him.
I still remember when they picked Daniel Craig and it was like, okay,
who the f*** is Daniel Craig?
That's different.
What's this guy? He doesn't even look like James Bond. I don't understand.
He's blonde.
Well, that's not the problem. It's just he doesn't look... Anyway, this is not a James Bond podcast, but yeah. It was a good performance. It highlighted, again, how much better BTS is at bringing a performance than other acts. Other acts just sort of did their thing, whereas BTS had better choreography. What other music artist learns choreography like BTS? That's usually for the backup dancers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not going to get that sort of dedication and performance from the vast majority of artists.
and I think I love the concept with the heist and everything. And people were comparing it to James Bond, but I was like, okay, it's not really James Bond. It's really more Ocean's 12, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's debatable.
Because if you watch the performance again, I guess they stole art and then they switched it out with pictures of themselves.
True,
on the wall.
because James Bond doesn't steal art. He's never done that.
No. I mean, maybe in one movie or something there might have been art involved.
It's more like Oceans, which is perfect for Vegas, obviously.
Yeah, so I think they always pick something that's perfect for that venue or that occasion.
Right, that's probably Oceans.
And we weren't sure if Jin was going to be able to perform with his finger still recovering from his surgery, but it looked like they just worked around it. They had him like off to the side, and he was kind of like the person orchestrating their heist.
Why couldn't he? Just a finger.
I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to be safe. It seemed like Butter, he could do it, but maybe they decided like, just better off just to be safe. And I think you could almost not even tell that he was injured because he hid his cast really well.
He had a cast on? Oh, that's why then.
He had a black glove over it. Or he would just kind of hide it behind his back. You couldn't even tell.
That was smart.
And there was a little skit in the very beginning of it that, got a lot of people talking about it. It showed, them sitting in their seats.
With the actual stars.
Yeah, like in their seats. It was like Jimin and RM and Suga. It was like, oh, we're getting ready to spring into action for this heist. It was pretty cool. And then V was sitting there with Olivia Rodrigo.
Right.
And this was like, oh my God, everybody's talking about this. This is like such a moment.
Right.
Because it kind of looked like they were flirting. They were kind of like, oh.
Oh, it didn't kind of look like that.
Whispering something to her, and then it was.
There's no kind of.
I was like, oh wow. Like for BTS, this is edgy. They don't even have like women in their videos.
Right.
So I think, wow, this is like a step forward that they're willing to.
Oh yeah.
Involve other, female.
I only watched one clip one time, and you could feel the sexual tension. She enjoyed it.
They want people to ship them, I bet. I think HYBE just wants people to talk about it, and it's like, oh my God, they had a scene.
I feel bad for her though. Can you imagine the amount of hate mail she's gonna get now?
She is gonna get a lot of
Good luck with that. She won't look at it. Her team, if anybody, will look at it. They'll probably get a lot of it will get filtered out.
Yeah,
but she's gonna get it. I
think maybe she's okay with it. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna. When she won some Grammys, so she was like, well, if anything's negative, it's going to outweigh, the positive stuff will outweigh that, because it's like she won some Grammys, and then this will be like just mostly positive attention, and maybe like even the BTS fans will like her more, so I don't know.
Even just beyond that, you could tell she just likes sitting there with V. You could feel it. Right. Once you get older, you can once you have lived on this earth a few years, you can tell when a woman is attracted to a man.
Oh, you could sense.
You can tell
the body language happening there.
You can. You can tell that she was attracted to him. Who can blame her? He's a good-looking guy. Not like it's not rocket science or some sort of crazy conspiracy that I'm purporting here, right? Yeah. Probably most women sitting next to him would be attracted to him. Mm-hmm. She's not different.
I think it was a good idea too, just because to get people talking, and also this is another young artist. Like, also if they had involved anybody else who's similar demographic, like maybe just.
It's a little bit awkward though, because remember the whole sort of some friction with Olivia Rodrigo and BTS, not between them, but the fans had some beef, right?
Yeah, there's a couple things happened months ago, and maybe this was their way of kind of like saying, "Hey, we don't have any beef." Maybe that was.
Of course, they don't.
Aside,
I don't think anybody thought they did.
Yeah, but I don't think BTS wants any of their fans arguing with people about stuff like that. They're just like, we get along with whoever, and it's fine.
Well, now they're just gonna hate her because V was flirting with her.
She got to be like inches from V, and he was whispering in her ear.
Good luck. Good luck, girl.
She decided she's gonna take the heat on this, so it was her choice. But I thought it was a really good performance and a skit, and also Jungkook came down from the ceiling.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
As a master spy or whatever, and it was similar to Euphoria, because so he's used to using equipment like that and being on.
Yeah, they do that sort of stuff. So
harness.
basically, their performance was better than others. That's normal because they put in way more work to choreo and all that. It's just a better product, you know.
They said on the red carpet, RM said that they worked on this for a month. So it's like, yeah, well, it shows. I mean, that must have taken a lot of practice.
Right.
Like that.
Did the other Grammy performers work on it for a month? I guarantee you no.
I doubt it. They just did their songs like normal, and then maybe they wore a different outfit this time.
Standing and singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It probably takes no rehearsal.
And so yeah, they had a really good performance. So I think that just left a good positive impression of BTS on anybody watching. And it's like, oh well, what a good band. And it's like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna win any Grammys. And so of course later on is when
they didn't.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I said would happen. They're not gonna win. Why? I thought they should boycott the Grammys, but then you know what? The performance is the real reward.
Yeah.
Because people see you. The Grammy doesn't mean anything at this point.
I think they gave people something to talk about more so than like if they had won. Although,
but the fact that they didn't win it, I feel insulted at this point. I'm like, can you fix this or something? Grammys?
It makes the Grammys look bad. It's like
we talked about this before. I think that the people who produce the Grammys really wish they would have won one, but they don't fix the votes.
Right. It's hard for them to control it.
They maybe I think that maybe they can fix the nominations, but after that, it's the voting body that votes. And that's just like old people who are not, what's this Kpop thing? That's just people who are just stuck in their ways, So they're not voting for BTS, and that's not going to change anytime soon. They're just not going to win one. I think we just have to accept it. The votes aren't fixed. If the votes were fixed, they would win tons of Grammys. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You think about it. If you're a producer of the Grammys, why would you want BTS to not win?
Yeah.
You'd have to be a moron to want them to not win. You want them to win. You want them to be encouraged, and you want them to be a more central part of the show, right?
Mm-hmm. You don't want their fans to be mad and saying, hey, this show's terrible.
Yeah.
Saying negative things.
This is the biggest music act on earth at the moment, and your award show is not handing them awards. It's not good business. But they do not fix the vote. I think they can fix the nominations. I don't think they fix the votes. And the only reason why they're only nominated for one is because they know by now that this voting body just doesn't vote for them. So it would be more embarrassing to put them in a bunch of categories and lose every single one. Mm-hmm. I think that putting them only in one is actually like kind of a favor to them. Like, oh, you just lost one category.
Yeah.
As opposed to 10.
It's not as disappointing.
I just feel like the voting body is either they're not keen to K-pop, hip to K-pop. They resent it for some reason. I don't know what their reasoning is, but they just don't vote for it.
Or they don't take it seriously, maybe. Or it's like they're voting for their friends more.
I don't know how the hell you don't take it seriously, because it's not like the other music acts in the world today are like some sort of a respectable, it's like Lil Nas X and Weeknd or whatever. It's like these people are not, or what are these people?
It's not like they're classical music or something.
Yeah, it's not like it's Mozart or something. It's like, well, we do real music and you just do, music for the commoners or whatever. I'm like, you all do just music.
Like most of the music is just popular music.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that. I think it's, maybe what you said, just like they vote for people they know or they know in the industry or their friends, something like that.
Yeah, it's a combination of those
and
things.
K-pop artists are totally outside of that ecosystem.
Yeah. You'd have to be a fan of BTS. Like, okay, I know there's a lot of artists, they like BTS, but if you, like everybody else who doesn't really know about them, they're not interested. But then like the ones that like BTS, they love them. It's like you're like 0 or 100.
So the Grammys are not going to give them awards. I think we just got to get over it. I'm over it. I thought they should boycott it, but you know what? The performance was so good and interesting that it's worth it.
I'm glad to have that. Yeah. So they didn't win. The category was a best pop duo or group performance, and they were nominated for Butter, but the winner was Kiss Me More by Doja Cat. And
which is also a good song.
SZA, yeah.
In fairness.
I didn't think that was a travesty. I just think overall, okay, they probably should have won a Grammy by now.
Yeah, overall, you could fit them into some category and they can get a win. But the problem is, I think the the Grammys, they know the voting body just doesn't want to give them a Grammy.
Yeah.
So putting them in more categories would just add to the embarrassment as opposed to give them a better chance, you know?
Yeah, it would make the Grammys look even worse.
Right.
But I at least feel that BTS understands what the situation is now, and I don't think they are disappointed this year. Like, they probably just,
I think they're
okay. Fine.
I think they've accepted it. I wouldn't say they're not disappointed because as music artists, I think that people still say, oh, the Grammys is just the number one thing. So they probably wish they could have one. I'm sure they probably, if you ask them, would you rather have one or not have one? I'm sure they would say, yeah, I would rather have one.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'll win eventually.
But I think that they care about it less these days.
Yeah. I think they know what the situation is and what to expect.
Yeah, and perhaps maybe like executives at the Grammys have explained to them, like, well, the voting body just doesn't want to vote for you, but we will try hard to feature you or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and I do feel like they were shown more in this telecast than before. Like, they were, like, the host was Trevor Noah, and he interviewed them at one point. He was, like, sitting at their little table with them, and they had a little conversation about, once again, though, they brought up how RM learned English from Friends. It's like, oh, do we need to talk about that again?
Fake story. I don't believe it for a second. And
then Trevor Noah made a joke about learning Korean from watching Squid Game.
But he didn't, see? That's why we know it's a fake story.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah didn't learn Korean from Squid Game. That's why I don't think RM learned English from Friends.
No, but
I think he learned it in school.
That's their story.
It's a better story than I learned it in school, though.
Yeah, or I learned from a tutor.
Right.
So yeah, I think the Grammys, they did try to feature BTS more. It showed them reacting to stuff. Like, I saw V was enjoying Justin Bieber's performance, and
who knows why.
Well, they're label mates now, so it's like, yeah.
Oh, right. That's right. He's obligated to enjoy it.
Like, we love Justin Bieber. And I saw on Twitter, there's people were posting tons of the images from Getty Images. And I guess, like, everybody wanted to take pictures with BTS. So I saw, like, they took pictures with, like, Donatella Versace and John Batiste, who I guess he won
old.
Album of the Year. Yeah, Donatella Versace. Like, I'm surprised she's still, like...
And he won Album of the Year. It's not the Album of the Year. That's bullshit.
I was like, I'd never heard his album. I never heard his music. But, okay, I guess he won. And this is important. I saw that V was talking to and hugging Lady Gaga. And they took a bunch of pictures.
That's right.
So...
This will come up later. We're going to talk about this.
Yeah, this is relevant. I'm like,
it's super relevant.
V talked to Lady Gaga. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, as far as the Grammys, I think it went well for them other than not winning. But there was also kind of a scandal that possibly happened. Well, I guess it did happen, but I don't know if some fans are angry about this. But there were some pictures taken of V backstage, and I guess he was smoking with, like, a staff member, a HYBE staff person. And I guess the fans were mad that got circulated. It's like, he didn't consent to having these pictures taken and stuff.
Because it's not okay to smoke?
I guess they try not to show that.
People smoke in Korea. It's not illegal.
Yeah, I mean...
Since it's not smoking pot, he's just smoking a cigarette, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So?
Just regular nicotine.
Who cares? President Obama smoked. Who cares?
Right. He smoked, but then he supposedly quit. But then he probably didn't really quit. He just...
Well, a lot of people who quit, they start smoking again.
Yeah.
It's hard to quit.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like a stressful situation. Like, you're going to be on national TV and stuff. It's like, oh, I need to calm
Plus,
down.
all cool people smoke. Let's just be honest. All cool people smoke. In history, if you average the people who smoke versus the people who don't smoke, the people who smoke are probably cooler. That's why I tried to pick up smoking at one point in my life, but I never got addicted to it. Something in my genetics, I just don't care for it. You know? But then I knew intellectually that smoking is cooler than not smoking. I know that's a really dumb reason to try to start smoking because of the whole, it costs money and plus lung cancer and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I knew that you're cooler if you smoke. So I tried to do it, but I could never do it.
And this is Vegas.
Did Frank Sinatra smoke?
Oh, he smoked tons.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like packs a day, probably.
Right. That's why his voice changed when he got older, right?
He lost his nice voice.
Right. You know? He's cooler because he smokes. That's probably a terrible message to send, but I'm sorry. I got to tell the truth.
Just look at old Hollywood. Like people.
Yeah, look at old Hollywood.
They look cool.
Look how damn cool they look. Just smoking. Even the women would smoke, but they have that like long extender. Well, I don't even know why they did that. Why can't you just like put the cigarette in your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
But they would put that like long thing and put the cigarette in it, right? Like Marilyn Monroe and Vivian Leigh. This is like really super old stuff to people, but like imagine Hollywood in the golden age.
Yeah.
They smoked.
It looked cool.
Jack Nicholson smoked. Cool people smoked. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it.
And they were in Vegas, so he's just like, you know what? This is like a smoking town.
Right.
This is
exactly.
Like, if I'm gonna do it anywhere,
smoking is okay in like
here.
Almost every casino.
Yeah.
You can smoke in almost every casino. I don't know if you know that.
You smoke indoors, outdoors.
Yeah. They have very good filtration systems, and you can barely smell it in most casinos. But
yeah, it doesn't have as much smell anymore, so that's good. Because if you don't smoke, you probably don't want to smell all that.
And I don't smoke, but I have to acknowledge that it's cooler to smoke than it is not to smoke. It's just got that cachet to it. You know what? Lots of BTS members smoke probably.
They probably do. I mean, if it helps calm you down, that's something. I thought he was...
I never understood that. It didn't calm me down.
I thought he vaped, though, but maybe... maybe it's like either or. It's like whatever.
I don't think vaping is exactly the same, but okay. Maybe it is. I don't vape. I've never vaped.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I haven't tried like both. And
I think vaping is more irritating.
V, if you want to smoke, we're totally fine with it. Do whatever you want to do. It was kind of somewhat of a scandal, but I think most fans are just like, he's his own person. He can make his own decisions. So that was the Grammys. And then there was a lot going on with BTS in the week before. So just wanted to do somewhat of a recap of that. So the Grammys are on April 3rd. And going back, J-Hope got COVID on March 23rd. So it was kind of like, oh my God, is he going to be okay in time for the Grammys? And it seemed that he didn't have very serious symptoms. So he quarantined for 5 days and everything was fine with that. Then on the 27th, Jungkook left early for Vegas, and they had said, oh, he's leaving early. Or HYBE said that he's leaving early to prep for the Grammys, like extra prep. And everyone was like, oh, what kind of prep? It's like, why does he need to go before everybody else? That's weird. But I think now that we saw their performance, we could see why he meant to go early, probably to rehearse with the harness and all that for their Butter performance. So, but people had all kinds of speculation though why he was going early. They're like, he's going to do a collab. He's going to do a song with Ariana Grande. He's going to do a separate song at the Grammys or something. He's going to record a music video in Vegas. There's all kinds of different things that people were saying, but I really think it was just so he could rehearse the safety stuff for the Grammy performance. And I mean, then he ended up getting COVID. So I don't know if he still had enough time to do all that, but it seemed like it all worked out. So I don't think that impacted anything. So Jungkook left early on March 27th, and then 5 of the members of BTS left for the U.S. on the 28th. So Jungkook left before. Nobody got pictures of that from the airport, which people were kind of bummed out on that because they wanted to see like what he wore and stuff, but that's fine. And so then the 5 members left. And then J-Hope couldn't go yet because he was still in quarantine, and he ended up leaving late in the day on April 1st. So that was kind of like, oh, not going to be much time. You get there right before the Grammys, and hopefully he didn't. I guess he didn't test positive or anything once he got to the U.S., so that's good. And so Jungkook tested positive for COVID on the 27th when he got to the U.S., and he had mild symptoms, so he was quarantined for 5 days. And so that was kind of surprising because, like, okay, everybody's getting COVID right before they're going to do their concerts. So I hope everybody is okay in time and it doesn't affect anything. And then the next news we heard was that some of BTS went to the Silk Sonic show on March 31st. And we don't have any audience pictures of that since that is a no cell phone show. But afterwards, Anderson .Paak and BTS posted pictures on Instagram. And also there were people there who were like, I saw BTS and they were there. And, they were shouted out by the Silk Sonic. So people were like, oh, were they really there? There's no pictures. And then, okay, it was confirmed once we saw them post to Instagram. So the ones that went to that show were RM, Jimin, and Suga. And if you recall, I did predict that they would all go see Silk Sonic.
That's right.
Just want that on the record.
Yes, you said they would see them because it's a famous... It sounds like something they would want to see.
Yeah, they are known to be fans of Silk Sonic. They love Leave the Door Open, and they posted about it. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. Of course they're going to want to go see that. But it was only 3 of them that went to that first show. So I was just wondering, like, okay, maybe they have to break it up just for, like, security reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And...
I don't think that's why.
Oh, okay. Do you think they just were like, let's not have all 7 of us all at the same time? And
this is going to be controversial, but I think some of the members get along with some of the members more than others.
Oh, okay. So you think it's like, we want to go with this group.
Yeah, I don't think they all hang out together as friends all the time. I think some of them are closer friends with some than others. Is this like a shock? I don't know. There's like 7 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever worked with 7 people? Of course, most of us have worked in a place
group
that has, unless we're self-employed or some sort of independent contractor, we've worked in a workplace with 7 or more people. Were you close friends with all of them? And you're like, I'm going to go to every single thing with all of them.
No, usually you're tight with like 1 or 2 people the most out of the 7, you know?
That's right. That's right. I think that's all there is to it. And it doesn't mean you hate the other people. It just means that, I don't know, maybe you're closer friends with them and you align your plans more with the ones you're closer to. Who were the people who went to the first night?
The first, RM, Jimin, and Suga.
Okay. And then the second night?
And then on April 2nd, J-Hope, V, and Jungkook.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be it. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just like a scheduling thing, but I don't know. I don't know what their schedule is or whatever.
It could have been they all wanted to go to the first one, but then they were delayed because J-Hope came later and Jungkook was in quarantine. So maybe like the second group of them had to go on to a different show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to say. And Jin didn't even go at all. So maybe he's not
maybe he's in pain.
With his finger, you think? Maybe he's not a Silk Sonic fan or something.
Yeah, I don't think he likes Silk Sonic. I think that's all there is to it. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, not everybody loves them. I would have gone out just to do it, just to have something to do, but who knows? Maybe he had other plans.
Maybe he wanted to see his girlfriend.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, if you're going to not go see Silk Sonic, then maybe you're seeing a woman, because that is something to do, you know? Right. Also, besides them seeing Silk Sonic, V also posted a couple of videos. I feel like V is kind of like the focus of this week. Like a lot of stuff involves V.
Right. He's like the new superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are getting to know V in the Vegas locals because he was at a local Vegas jazz club and they were dancing to standards, and it looked like a good time for the older folks. And V was there dancing and enjoying the music. We all know he loves jazz and
I didn't know that.
Standards. Yeah,
Did I just learn that with this story?
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's the fan of that genre.
He must, and it must be a genuine love for it, because the club he was at, let's just put it this way, it was not a happening Vegas spot. All right, it had, anytime you see like 70-year-olds dance, it's not Vegas.
They were like ballroom dancing too.
You have to really seek out this stuff, which he apparently did.
Yeah,
and you don't even accidentally just he was just walking around a fancy hotel and happened to find this. No. He had to seek this out.
Yeah.
He had to do research and say, where are they playing this type of music? I want to go to this.
Live music.
Yeah, if he was just sort of, bumping into things, he would not have bumped into this.
No.
It's not on the Vegas Strip.
He had HYBE people do some research and
right.
say, find me a jazz place.
Which is like, yeah, it really elevates my opinion of V, even though I don't have a low opinion of him, but because this is my type of music. This is the type of music I loved even before K-pop.
Yeah.
Jazz standards. Well, we call them American standards. So what this is basically music written in America from like 1930 to 1950 that was like, this is like the first pop music, right? When music was recorded and you could make money, a lot of money by writing this sort of music and recording it. It was the formative age, and really, if it's a formative age of American pop music, then it's a formative age of worldwide.
Yeah.
It's not like they were doing pop music in Germany in 1890 or whatever, right? So this is really the beginning of this whole thing. Now, that's not to say there wasn't music before. Of course, there was music before, right? But it's not the music industry the way we know of now, where people write music, they're paid for it, things like that. This is really the beginning of that, and it was all codified in something called the Great American Songbook. And there's like 50 or so songs that people sing over and over again. Those are called standards. They call them American standards or jazz standards. I prefer to call them American standards because jazz it's a little misleading because jazz, it's a broader thing.
Yeah.
It's not all jazz is standards, okay? A lot of jazz is more freeform.
Yeah, a lot of scatting and stuff like
that.
Yeah.
So I prefer to just call them standards. But it's a type of music that, like a Frank Sinatra will sing, a Michael Bublé will sing. But essentially the whole point is that it's been the same 50 or so songs since 1950 or so, written in that period, and people just keep re-recording it.
Yeah, these are beloved songs.
Yeah, and you don't introduce new songs into this songbook, right? Mm-hmm. This is just the same old ones. They're never going to add anything, I don't think. So this is the type of music I love. So it's really cool that he also enjoys it, and he clearly must enjoy it because again, you cannot run into this place accidentally. It's a bunch of old people at a club. It's not like a cool club. Yeah.
It's not on the strip. It's not anywhere you just randomly come across. Yeah, it was a very interesting video. I think everybody loved seeing that V was in his element of like that music that he loves. He's just getting into.
And can you imagine being the old people there? They don't even know what the hell's going on. There's what is this Asian kid dancing alone?
They're like, okay, that's good.
What's this all about? It's so weird, They don't realize he's like a global superstar.
There's a millionaire.
I bet you anything, none of them realize that.
There's a millionaire right there.
Not just a millionaire, but like a global superstar, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know that. I bet you anything.
They're like, oh, cool. Like this Asian guy likes this music. Okay. That's all they thought. It's just
comical. It's just so weird. It's just a perfect social media moment,
Yeah. It's totally one of those moments. He also, and this ties into earlier when we saw that he took pictures with Lady Gaga, because remember I also said like, okay, they're going to want to go to Lady Gaga's show, her jazz
No, I think I was the one that said
concert.
That. Did you say that or I say that?
I'm pretty sure I said it.
Okay, you said that. But now that we know that he likes this type of music, it's even more likely.
It's like 200% more likely.
And here's the thing. When we're going to be in Vegas this upcoming week, we're going to see Lady Gaga. More proof that this is the type of music that I love. And you as well. We love standards. We love that sort of music. We're going to see Lady Gaga. She sings that music, by the way. This show is that type of music. Now, if you're not familiar, if you just like have a passing familiarity with Lady Gaga, you probably think, well, she sings like dance music, right? She does, but she also loves this type of music. She's had like collaborated albums with Tony Bennett, another like American standard singer.
Yeah, she did like 2 albums with Tony Bennett.
Right. So this Vegas concert is actually about this type of music.
Yeah.
It's not about her normal music.
Yeah, people don't all know that she has classical training. She loves this whole genre, and I love this side of her. This is like really good music.
So this concert is all about that side of her, and I feel that you might see some BTS members watch that. Mm-hmm. And here, pro tip, I think we might be like making our lives more difficult, maybe a little bit. Not that many people listen to us, but a little bit, right? But I read that after her concert, and her concert is at Park MGM.
Yeah, so it's a MGM property.
Yeah, it's an MGM property. But very often, she will do impromptu performances at something called the Nomad Bar, which is at Park MGM, which is a bar with like a small stage or whatever. It's very intimate. She doesn't tell anybody, obviously, so people don't flood that place, right? But what if she was there doing one of those impromptu performances and V was there?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
What if they go there?
If they go there when we're there, we're definitely getting video of it. That would be amazing. I don't think it's impossible.
It's not out of the question.
So even if you're not going to the Lady Gaga concert, check out the dates that her concerts are on, and then maybe go to that bar at, roughly 10:30 or so when the concert lets out, 10:30 to 1. You might see her. And if you might see her, who else? Who knows what else you might see? I'm not going to, promise anything, but, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, we've already made some accurate predictions here.
Yes,
so.
Exactly. So who knows? Maybe what if she does like a duet with V and only like 50 to 70 people see it? Wouldn't that not be amazing? It would be more valuable than your ticket to the BTS concert because like
exclusive.
So very few people will have experienced that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible.
No, I think that could happen. A lot of things could happen.
Now that place is going to be packed. This is going to make our life more difficult.
No, they won't hear in time. Don't worry. They're not going to change anything.
No, they are, because this is airing before that. But fortunately, we don't have that many listeners. So. And how many are even going to Vegas, right?
Right.
But if you do go, consider that, because I do think that there's a shot that they'll watch her concert and show up to her impromptu performance at Nomad Bar, which you don't even have to pay for. It's just like you just go there, you just pay for some drinks. That's all you have to do.
I think it could happen. So related to that, the city of Las Vegas is anticipating.
Wait, you didn't talk about Topgolf.
Oh, okay.
You missed that.
Yeah. Okay, so V, he went to this jazz club, and in addition, he posted a video of himself at Topgolf, which he didn't say it was Topgolf, but that's pretty much what it looked like.
Yeah, obviously.
Because that's the only...
We know what it looks like.
Golf place like that.
Yeah.
He was in some kind of expensive suite or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool that he...
And for foreign listeners, if you
fun.
don't understand what Topgolf is, it's like it's a golf driving range, right? But they make it fun, like you have drinks, and there's a
lot of lights,
point system where you hit balls at things, and it's mainly an excuse to drink, though. It's not really about golf. It's really just, for fun. They try to combine like a bar with a golf range.
I'm surprised only V went. Is he the only one who's interested in golf then?
Oh, I don't know. Just because he's the only one in the videos doesn't mean...
maybe others were there, but they're not in pictures.
Right.
Or maybe he was there with friends that are like not BTS or something.
Right. Now, I saw the video. There's not much. It's just, it shows him swinging a golf club, right? That's the only thing that is in the video. Mm-hmm. But already from that, I can tell you, the guy has a really good swing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you don't know golf, and I'm not a very good golfer, but I play golf since I was a kid, so I know, I kind of know what I'm talking about. And my Asian mom like pressured me to like go take it seriously, but I'm like, Mom, I'm not that good of a golfer. But you know how Asian moms are. They're like, oh, you're going to be a professional.
Like, you got to be a professional.
Yeah. You're going to be the next Tiger Woods. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I can tell you this. His form is super good. Better than the vast majority of people who play golf. His flexibility is really good. Like, his rotation is excellent. I mean, you would expect that because he's, like an athlete. He's a dancer. He's limber. He's flexible. The only issue I saw with his swing is that his feet aren't really parallel and they're kind of too wide, and he doesn't really load his back leg properly. So like his base is a little sloppy, and he loses some power with that. But his upper like he keeps his arm locked. His upper rotation is so excellent. It's really, and trust me, it's better than the vast majority of people who play golf. I can identify these little small errors with it, but most people who play golf will never have a swing as good as him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he has a very good golf form.
So he should definitely stick with it. He should play some golf.
Well, I mean, he should stick with it if you just have fun. It doesn't matter, right? But he'll be better than a lot of people. I don't know how much he even likes golf. Maybe he doesn't even like it that much, which is even more impressive that his form is so good. But yeah, his base is a little too wide, and it's not parallel, and he doesn't load his back leg.
I see. Which
is where your power comes from. It's like loading your back leg.
Oh, well, that's very, very useful analysis.
Yes. So,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because you don't know golf.
Yeah, the average person wouldn't know.
I can tell. Yeah, but from an educated perspective, I can tell you his form is super good. 99% of people will never have form that good.
I think Army will be glad to hear that.
Yes.
It's like, another thing V is good at.
It's not perfect, but... And imagine if he doesn't really play that much. So he's kind of a natural, you know?
Just doing it for fun.
And I can't imagine he plays that much because he doesn't have time.
Golf takes a lot of time.
Right. It's usually something you do when you're retired.
I'm glad he's enjoying all the
So yeah, he's super good at
amenities.
golf. He's super good. He likes the music I like. V is like the new star in my opinion. This is like his week.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
standing out. So, City of Las Vegas is anticipating BTS Army coming in, and they're predicting, a lot of spending, a lot of activity. The senior vice president of Live Nation was somebody who anticipated this potential for selling out the stadium in Vegas. This guy's name was Jared Braverman, and I guess not everybody thinks the same way as him as this senior vice president. So
No?
he's looking
Who?
pretty smart right now. I don't know. He was quoted, so it
Oh.
sounds like okay. Other people didn't see this.
Put their names down so they can be embarrassed.
Right. And then he was saying, like, yeah, he thought that the BTS Army would go to Vegas to see them.
Right.
And Vegas is a place where people often travel to, see what they want to see and to enjoy Vegas. So he felt like this was a good opportunity. So, I mean, I guess that's why they pay him the big bucks at Live Nation, just to, like, predict stuff like this. Yeah, because I remember when they said they were going to perform in Vegas, it's like, oh, well, that's kind of surprising. I've never heard of Kpop being performed in that town. Like, normally they try to stick to, California, New York,
Right.
other big cities. But yeah, I definitely think that Vegas was like an untapped potential market.
No, I don't think it is untapped. I think that they realize after the LA shows that people will just travel in to see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if people at that area want to see it. It doesn't even matter.
People will go to them.
Yeah, Army's just going to worldwide travel in. So it makes no difference.
And they said that we don't take booking a group like BTS in 4 stadium shows lightly. There's a lot of preparation and planning that goes into an event of this scale. So, because remember we thought like, they only did that because the Grammys are going to be in Vegas. And so this makes it sound like, no, this was like in the works for a while. Like you said.
It has nothing to do with the Grammys.
You said like they just identified this as a good place to do it, and it just turned out that the timing was similar to...
Correct, because the Grammys was a last minute change, wasn't it?
Yeah, they only changed it like 3 months ago. So this Vegas trip must have been in the works. And so they're talking about expected spending, and basically the older the generation, the more you're going to spend in Vegas. So it says millennials spend an average of $1,500 on their trips to Vegas, and then Gen X spend $1,700, baby boomers spend $1,900, and then the silent generation, the greatest generation, they spend like $2,100.
This is younger than that.
Oh.
Yeah, and that has no bearing on BTS though. It's like there's no silent generation BTS fans probably.
Probably
or very
not.
few. Well, yeah, older people have more money. They spend more money. That's not anything new, probably.
And they spend more on gambling.
Yeah.
So they're anticipating because.
But it's noteworthy that Vegas was so confident that they could do 4 stadium shows. They knew that they would fill it. It's nothing we don't know.
That's pretty smart though, because Vegas they look at the numbers. And all the different factors that are involved. They're kind of like actuaries. It's like, there's so many things involved. Like, let's look at all of the different factors in place. And they thought, yeah, this is going to be a good plan. And it was unexpected to everybody else. But I guess if you're Vegas, it's like, nope, this is a perfect fit. BTS performing at 4 stadium shows. And I'm sure they probably chose like 4 for a reason. It's like, that's like the maximum that is doable. That's not going to be, difficult logistically. It's like 4 dates, 2 separate weekends. And like, you don't want to do too many dates in one place because you don't want like, some of them to not be sold out. So, yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of planning that went into that. So it seems like their city of Las Vegas is expecting a lot of money coming in.
Of course.
With Army. And that is a safe prediction. Just people are wanting to have a fun trip, and they're willing to spend money, anything BTS related, and they're gonna use their trip to enjoy all the other parts of Vegas too. I think people are gonna enjoy all of that.
Yep.
We also talked about it last episode, but this week HYBE released some more information about some of the special events they've set up. One of it was Cafe in the City, which was specially curated Korean dishes by a Michelin star chef, Chef Bak Sung-uk, who is at the noodle shop at the Seabreeze Cafe in Mandalay Bay. And so that was something you can have a reservation for, and you get the special menu with like Korean food. And
right. I saw that.
we looked at it. And, okay, the food sounded pretty good. It was a little expensive though, but I think it was kind of like typical Vegas pricing.
It's not expensive for Vegas.
Yeah.
Like that, you could. Yeah, that's not too expensive for Vegas. I don't recommend doing this though, because just like that place. Let's just put it this way: every casino hotel has like a diner / cafe or something, like a place that's open for food for 24 hours because people gamble at all hours and they need a place to eat.
Yeah.
This place is just that for Mandalay Bay. It's not like a restaurant or something. It's not that nice or anything like that. It's sort of gimmicky is what I'm trying to say. You are not getting a great experience. I think that sort of money, if you don't care, like there's better Korean restaurants. Just like search Korean barbecue or whatever. There's so many good ones in Vegas and cheaper than this actually.
Yeah.
And if you just want a nice dining experience, there's so many better ones than this for perhaps even less money. So I really, unless it means a lot to you to buy the themed thing, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah, I think you can get better value at another Korean place.
It's just you're not going to get value for your money going to this. So I would highly recommend you don't. There's so many other better places to spend your money. It's kind of just a gimmick.
Yeah, and it sounded like a lot of people were making reservations too. So I'm sure like HYBE will get their, or whoever, their get their money back from all their plans. So, but yeah, I think
I'm sure they'll make the money.
There's other.
I just don't think it should be your money.
Other experiences that are gonna go further with your dollar.
Yeah.
They are also doing a party in the city after party at Jewel nightclub in Aria, and what's good about that is that it's gonna be BTS music or BTS, remixed by a DJ. So I think that part of it really appealed to me. The fact that you never hear BTS music in the club, and it's like that's like my dream. It's like I want to go to a club and hear BTS music.
Well, you could go
Kpop.
and hear it here for sure.
Yeah.
That is a little bit better use of your money, I think, because I presume that they'll play a bunch of BTS music.
Yeah.
And in a club, how many times will you experience that? Probably not many, not in America at least. I don't think is worth it either. Just right now, I think the tickets are $100.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that they really overpack Vegas clubs. You just be wall to wall with human beings, and this is really not pleasant. The only time I really do Vegas clubs is when I have a table, but that's thousands and thousands. I don't think you want to spend that. Few people do, and I don't even recommend you do. It's not good value, but it's just probably not going to be that pleasant.
We try to go only when there's like a comp bottle or comp table.
That's not true. Sometimes we just outright pay for the table. We just pay for the table. Like last time we just paid for the table.
But sometimes the ticket to get in is like a lot lower. It's like,
and sometimes if you just want to get in with a ticket, it's lower. It's not normally that. It's more usually like $50.
Yeah.
Right now it's like about 100 and
yeah, for what they're charging for party in the city, it's a little expensive. And
here's the other thing. In the pantheon of Vegas clubs, Jewel is not really at the top of them. Jewel used to be, we've never been in Jewel, but it used to be Hayes. We've been to Hayes.
This is the previous iteration of this.
Right. It's a club. It's basically the club at the Aria. It's bad. It's kind of lower. It's underground. There are no windows. There's no inside-outside dynamic.
It's kind of small. And all of my favorite clubs in Vegas, like Marquee, XS, they all have like an indoor-outdoor dynamic. You can see the outdoors. It's brought in, like these two things are sort of blended together. I love when there's a balcony.
Right. So
or like a pool.
If it's just like a gigantic dark room, like Hakkasan or Jewel, I don't like it. And although in fairness, that's most clubs, I just think that if you're in Vegas, your standard for what a club should bring you should be higher. I demand some kind of indoor-outdoor element.
Yeah, like I think our favorite, or my favorite at least, is Excess.
My favorite is Excess,
Yeah.
and people like Marquee too. I like Marquee. Less than Excess, but I like it.
Excess is just so nice. It's just like there's a pool out there, there's lights. It's like it feels like nightlife, and you can be outside, you can be
Right.
inside.
So, just bottom line, I don't think it's the greatest club. I think it's a little overpriced. And if you want to experience Vegas club life, go to Excess or Marquee. And you never know. BTS is in town, so they probably will play some BTS music.
Yeah, maybe they will do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking they will actually play some BTS music.
That would be smart.
So, will they play nonstop BTS music? Probably not, because the people are not there for that. But they will understand that BTS is in town. Just like the Bellagio's doing BTS in their fountains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is really good at accommodating what's in town. So, I recommend you go to Marquee or XS. Still the best clubs in Vegas. Dre's at the Cromwell is pretty good. I think it's like a step below.
Oh, yeah.
And also they're kind of pretty hip hop dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they'll play like some BTS music is pretty hip hop. They might play it.
Yeah, maybe they have a really good DJ who's in the know.
I wouldn't recommend Jewel under normal circumstances. I'd never go there. Let's just put it that way. So I wouldn't recommend you go there just because they're playing BTS music.
I wonder why they didn't get one of the other clubs, or maybe those were all booked with like DJs or something.
Yeah, and they just didn't want to be a BTS specific. Yeah.
Because what is it? Is Hakkasan MGM?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like they could have done this at Hakkasan, but maybe they weren't.
They probably have DJs booked.
They weren't sure, probably, like, oh, can this be filled with all?
They probably have DJs
Army?
booked.
Yeah, they have like these DJs, and they pay them like exorbitant fees, so they don't want to bump them or anything. But yeah, ideally this would have been.
And you don't want a name DJ. You're not going to tell a name DJ, hey, can you just play BTS all night?
No.
You're not going to do that.
That's insulting.
Right.
But yeah, ideally they would have gotten a bigger club for this, because it sounded like, okay, the prices were getting really high because they were selling so many. But yeah, hopefully, okay, if anyone goes to that, let us know how it goes, because it sounded like it might be super crowded to me. And I also saw kind of on Twitter and Facebook that there were some VIP packages being sold by MGM as well as Wynn Field Club. And the MGM ones, it was announced like a week before, but it's like these packages where you get all sorts of stuff, and they package it together. Like you get rooms, like nice rooms, hotel rooms, and this much food and beverage, and tickets at a certain area in the stadium for BTS, and it's like a 3-night stay. It's like a whole package of everything you would need if you were doing a trip. And it's like, it was just kind of odd because, okay, these packages were expensive, and so, okay, that's not a big deal, because like, of course, people that want that luxury experience, maybe they'll pay it. But it was like the week before, so wouldn't most people have their stuff planned out already? So I think that's the part that was like confusing.
So they opened up VIP tickets recently.
Yeah, like a week before it was gonna take place. And
well, I do have to tell you, these areas are really good.
I mean, they were good seats. It's like some of them are floor, some of them is like a sound check or something, and you get to have like a really nice hotel room. And yeah, I don't.
Maybe we should do this.
I mean, if someone like didn't have a ticket and then they were like willing to pay, it's like, this might be better than paying like a lot on StubHub just for like a ticket that's not that great.
This might be a huge hack. It's only like $800 for a ticket.
Yeah, for the Wynn Field Club, it's like $800, and I think you're in that area where there's like seats, like booths and
it's
stuff.
like a nightclub. It's like a nightclub.
Yeah, the Wynn Field Club, it sounded like pretty good. It's like you had a comfortable seat.
Yeah, this might be a huge hack.
Yeah, I wonder how many they've sold so far.
I'm not trying to say that that's like not expensive for a seat, but considering what the resale prices are right now for just a regular seat.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get like a nice seat if you're going to pay that much.
This could be, I'm looking into it.
Yeah, you never know. It might be something that works. So some people were like, oh my God, this is like so wrong that they're only telling us a week before. But at the same time, other people were being kind of reasonable. They're like, okay, well, this is for, people who maybe their parent is a big gambler. They're like a whale or something.
Yeah.
And then, you have family members that love BTS. They're like, they're all rich. And it's like, okay, well, here, you can do this you can go to see BTS and we can do this deal. So, it is kind of meant for people that are just, you rolled into Vegas and, some of your family members, they love BTS. So they'll, let me go see that show then. And we'll get these like expensive tickets because, that's like no problem for us. We're like high rollers. So
right.
I think it's kind of meant for that audience. So if you're just, the average ARMY, I don't think you should be offended or anything. This is just kind of like, this is what they do. This is like Vegas. They try to have like a luxury experience. They have those kind of packages. And I do think it's interesting that, because we thought that, okay, SoFi Stadium, they were so terrible because they set aside tickets for their season ticket holders. And then some of those people like hogged up the really premium tickets. And so like SoFi got a lot of grief for that. But they did the same thing here, except it was MGM and the Wynn. I don't know how even the Wynn was involved because they're not. I guess because they have a section in
Where
Allegiant.
is the Field Club? It's near the field, isn't it?
I don't know exactly. If you go to their website, it shows like the view, I think.
Okay.
But I think the Wynn owns a section in Allegiant Stadium.
Yes, that's right.
And then MGM, since they own all the MGM stuff, that's who HYBE has a deal with for all these other things. That's why they got a bunch of VIP tickets. So everybody has held back some tickets somewhere. It's just they were like a little more subtle this time about it, and then they released it only a week before, so people didn't really have time to complain. So I mean, I'm not complaining. I think, if it's for a certain audience and if it's out of your price range, then it's not really meant for you. It's just meant for a certain.
This is not even out of anybody's price range.
It's doable.
Not people who go see BTS. We're already paying a lot of money.
Yeah, we're all coming from out of town, so.
This is field level.
It's like it's not bad. It's like it might be worth it, and there might still be tickets.
Oh my God, I'm seriously considering it.
Definitely take a look. But yeah, there's like MGM Rewards or something is what it's called. They had I see all of these in like my Facebook feed. It's like, oh, you might want this package, because they did the same thing with like Bruno Mars when he performed. I think it was at Bellagio or something. When he was Bruno Mars, not when he was Silk Sonic. But they had a whole like, oh, you could get this Bruno Mars package or this one, and it was like thousands of dollars. But yeah, they did a similar thing. So this is not just BTS that started this. This is like they do this typically with other A-list artists. So yeah, that might be something to look at. I mean, good seats and the price, if you can afford it, maybe that'll be worth it. That's something to check out. So yeah, MGM Grand deals and also Wynn Field Club.
Okay, just go on YouTube and just look at Wynn Field Club stuff to do research.
You can see
it's kind of a club vibe, and it's at the end of the field. The view of the field is not spectacular, though, just full disclosure. So that's the thing you're going to have to weigh.
Well, is that why some of the tickets cost $200 and then some of them cost less because they're obstructed view?
Right. But the thing is, like, what if you're sitting in the nosebleeds? Is it really even that much worse?
Right.
What can you really see there, right? It's something to think about. Mm-hmm. And they're still available, apparently.
Yeah, if I'm still seeing the ads, it's like, oh, there's still tickets. Okay. All
right. Well, we might be watching it from there. I don't know. Maybe we weren't able to get floor, so
yeah, this might be like the hack to get a little bit closer.
Right.
Thank you to our guest Morgan. You can listen to BTS Happy Hour on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms, or visit btshappyhour.com. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. New episodes weekly. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Weverse. If you've listened all the way to the end of the episode, you have proven yourself a true fan of the podcast. And in honor of the Grammys, comment with a butter emoji on our latest Instagram post. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.